Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Ryan Johnson, and at the time of filming this video, I have been intermittent fasting for over 10,100 hours. I have lost over 50 pounds and been able to maintain the weight loss for over a year. And I want to share with you my story and kind of how intermittent fasting has given me the tools that I need to lose the weight, but most importantly, build a sustainable lifestyle that I am able to maintain that weight loss. My weight is something that I have always struggled with. I have gained and lost the same 40 to 60 pounds more times than I can count, but with intermittent fasting, I have been able to lose the weight and again, keep it off for over a year now. I was in the Army for 7 years, and throughout my time in the Army, there was always periods that I would gain weight and lose weight, and usually I did that through some sort of crash diet. I have done every kind of diet known to man. I've done low carb diets, I've done Weight Watchers before, I have done like the bodybuilding 6 meals a day, high protein. I have done a lot of different diets in the past, and they have always been successful for a short period of time. I was able to lose the weight, usually in a period of 2 to 3 months, but the problem was anything that I did, I was only doing until I hit my target weight number. I was never focused on building habits that I could not only lose the weight, but keep it off forever. So any diet that I did, I would only do up until that point that I lost the weight, and then I would revert back to my old ways and put the weight back on. And throughout my time in the Army for those 7 years, that was kind of my whole life, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, because I had to stay in shape. I couldn't allow myself to get too big. But 5 years ago, I got out of the Army. I started working a civilian job, and through the next probably 3 years after getting out, I continued to put on weight because I didn't have that external motivation and that external need to lose the weight like when I was in the Army. So I was able to get big and I really had no motivation to lose it. So I had gotten up to 200 and about 40 pounds. And then last year, COVID hit. I was stressed at work. I was working at a job that I absolutely hated. So that combined with the stress of COVID around, there were layoffs at work, things going on. I was working a crazy amount of hours, and I had ballooned up in the first 2 months of COVID. I ballooned up, but I stepped on the scale and I saw that it was 265, and I was like, I have to change something. So I decided then and there that whatever I did, I needed to lose the weight, but most importantly, I had to learn how I could keep the weight off forever. Now, I had heard about intermittent fasting before, back when I was in college and doing a lot of weightlifting and stuff like that. Intermittent fasting was around, but at the time I thought, no way can intermittent fasting work because I'm going to starve myself. I'm going to go into this starvation mode, and when I start eating again, my body's just going to put on more fat. But a lot of research has been done on intermittent fasting from that time. So, heck, I was in college probably 13 years ago, even more than that now. But a lot of research has been done on intermittent fasting, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot, because one of the things that I liked about intermittent fasting is at its core, it's not about what you eat, but it's about when you eat. And that's part of the reason that I would always gain weight on these crash diets, is because my eating patterns would not be sustainable, whether I was going extreme low carb or high protein or counting, doing really small meals with Weight Watchers, whatever it wasn't sustainable for me. It wasn't something I couldn't keep up forever. So I looked into intermittent fasting and I committed myself to doing fasting and focusing most importantly on building habits that I could keep up forever. So I started fasting last year, and in the course of probably about 3 or 4 months, I had lost about 30 to 40 pounds in about the first 4 months. And one of the things that I realized was the reason that I was able to have success with intermittent fasting is because I didn't fall into the trap that I had every other time about going all in. And here's what I mean. When I started fasting, I did what I call now a stair-step approach to intermittent fasting. So first, I just focused on hitting my fasting window. So day in and day out, I was fasting between 16 and 18 hours. And I wasn't concerned about starting a new exercise routine. I wasn't concerned about eating the healthiest foods. I wasn't concerned about what I was breaking my fast with. I was just focused on fasting. So for the first few months, that's all that I did was focus on fasting. Once I had that habit built, then I started to fit in some exercise. And really, even in the first year, I didn't really change my diet. I just counted calories to make sure that I wasn't eating too much of bad foods. I was still eating fast food and all those kinds of things. So that's all that I did. Now that I've been doing this, and I have lost 60 pounds doing intermittent fasting, I do some exercise. Probably I lift weights 2 to 3 days a week on average, but I don't go crazy. I try to be consistent, and I try to do something that I can keep up forever, which that's what intermittent fasting is for me. It's something that is simple and executable so that I don't have to stop doing intermittent fasting when I reach my goal weight. I can keep doing it, which has allowed me to keep the weight off. So that's kind of what the first year looked like for me. Was I was hitting my fasting window for the first month. Then I added in some exercise. And now that I've been doing it for a year and a half, and I've got 10,000 fasted hours under my belt, the next thing that I'm trying to do is I am trying to get into more healthy foods. So now that I have the habit firmly established of fasting, I'm trying to work in the habit of eating healthier foods. And if I have learned anything over this last year, it's that if I take my time and build the habits slowly, I will be able to maintain them for the rest of my life. So if you're watching this and have done any kind of diets or crash diets in the past, the thing that I would encourage you to do is focus on building the habit that is sustainable. And when that happens, then build your next habit. So I have the habit of fasting down. I have the habit of exercise down. Now, a year and a half into this, I'm going to focus on building the habit of healthy eating. One of the other things that happened right around the 6-month mark into my weight loss, I had lost about, again, 40 to 50 pounds by that point. A lot of people started asking me questions about what I was doing, and that's when I started this YouTube channel, Intermittent Fasting with Ryan, and I really just did it for 2 reasons. One, to share my experience. I know there's a lot of intermittent fasting things on YouTube and a lot of channels out there, but a lot of them delve into the science of intermittent fasting and why intermittent fasting is the superior method for weight loss. But the reality is anything is going to work as long as you can stick to it. And the most important thing is, can you do it once you hit your goal weight, if weight loss is your goal? Because you need to be able to do it long term to sustain. I want to share my experience as a real person. I honestly don't look into the science as much as I do the habit building, because it takes us years of building bad habits to put the weight on. And the reality is it's going to take us years of building good habits to lose the weight and to keep it off. So if I had one bit of advice to you, it would be set a longer time horizon on when you want to reach your goal. Don't worry about the number on the scale. Just focus day in and day out about building good habits, and the number will take care of itself. I actually, it's 2022 now. Man, it's hard to say that. It's 2022 now, and I haven't stepped on the scale since January 1st. So here moving forward, I'm not gonna know how much I weigh, because the weight isn't the goal. It's healthy living. So I'm not stepping on the scale, but I am trying to eat healthier. So I started the YouTube channel to kind of share my experience. I have a lot of videos on here. You can kind of go back and you can watch my progression. There was a 6-month period of time where I filmed absolutely everything that I ate. So you can go scroll through some of the older videos and see everything that I ate for 6 months while intermittent fasting and what a daily routine actually looked like for me. And I share some insights as well. And if you're looking to connect a little further and get a little more encouragement and accountability, I've kind of stopped doing the vlogs on the channel as much, just because of the amount of time it takes to do them. And as much as I would love to do YouTube full time, this is kind of my video journal. But I did start a Facebook group. You can connect with me there. I'll leave a link for that in the description below. If you're looking for some encouragement and accountability, I encourage you to go to that Facebook group, join, and that's kind of where I'm giving life updates and stuff like that, keeping the YouTube channel, just kind of sharing some of my tips and things like that. So if you enjoyed this video, please, I encourage you to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video if you can. Intermittent fasting is a great way to lose weight, but most importantly, it's something that you can keep doing forever. So don't try to do it all today. Be slow and steady, be deliberate, and thanks again, and I will catch you in the next video. I'll leave some on the screen for you right now.